Hi everyone, in this session we'll learn about repository feature in the project. So currently I have this many projects in my group that we created in our previous session. So let me select one of the projects here, that is Spring RESTful Web. And this, we can see that we have something called repository. So this is what we are going to understand and see each of the options in the repository feature. So basically, if you are on the project overview here, and if you click on any of the files here, it will redirect you to the repository, right? You can see here, it takes you to the files. So the very first option, that is files, what we have here is we can see what are the files that are checked in or present in the repository that is in our project. You can also select a particular branch. Okay, currently we just have master branch, but if you want to see the files that are present in a particular branch, you can change it and then see all the files that are present in that particular branch. The next we have a plus icon here. If you click on this, you can see that we have many options available here to create a new file, upload a file, create a new directory, and also you can create a branch and new tag. We'll learn about this, creating a new branch and new tag, when we are talking about the branches and tags. But for now, I think you need to understand that if you want to create a file, you don't need to check out your code into your IDE or your machine and then do all the check-in check-out process, that is pushing back to your remote repository. You can create a file from the repository itself, that is from GitLab. Then you can see here we have something called history. History is something that will show you all the commits that were performed to this particular branch, whatever we have selected. Okay, so if you click on this, it will take you to the commits. See here, so you can see that all the commits that were performed. So this is giving you basically a history of the commits that were performed to your branch. So next, then we have something called find a file. You can find a file in your branch, and for example, if you want to search for a pom.xml file, you can do that, right? So that option is there. And the next we have Webide. So this is something that again, it takes you to a different view where you can kind of an IDE where you can update a particular file on, if you don't want to go through all those check-in check-out process, and if you think that okay, it's a very quick change that I can perform directly into the GitLab, you can go to the Webide, make the change, and before that you need to select the branch that you want to commit those changes, make the changes, and then finally commit it. Okay, for example, if for now it is not enabled, but if you make a change, for example, if you just remove this dependency, okay, it will show you the commit option. So when you commit, it's going to commit into the branch that you have selected here. Okay, so that will roll that back. So that is the option that you have. You can go through any of the files. It's just like an IDE. Normally what you do in your STS IDE or an Eclipse IDE. So similar kind of look and feel you will have. You'll not have all the features, but this option is very handy when you want to do something really quick, that you don't need to do a lot of compilation and all those. So then that is when you can use Webide. Okay, so next we have is let me go back to the project. Okay, I think, yeah, so let's go to your project. In the files, then you have download. You can download the source code, and you have finally the clone. If you want to clone the project, you can also do it from your files options, right? You can see the same clone options when you are on the project here, and the same thing you can do again. You can see that again you have all the same options that you saw in the files, right? So next we have commits. As said, even commits is just giving you the history of all the commits that were made to the branch. The next we have is the branches. Now By default, you will be having a master branch, and which is a protected one. And I'll show you how we can protect a particular branch and make it a default branch too, if you don't want, if you think that master is not the default branch. But normally that is what the default branch is. But in case if you want to change it, you can change it in settings here. So let's first create new branches, and what we're going to do is we're going to create branches the way we create in a real time project. Okay, so let's create a branch per environment. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create a develop branch. I'm creating it from the master branch and create it. The next, so now I can see that I have two branches now, master and develop. Let's create another branch. I'm going to create a test branch, and that will be again from the master branch. So how these branches are going to be used? Develop branch is going to be used by the developers, okay, whereas test branch is going to be used by the QA team, okay, or it can be used by the user business users who can do the UAT validations. Okay, so that is what this test branch is for, and master is going to be your production environment basically. So with these three branches, we are going to create one more branch that is called release, and that is not basically an environment, but it is a branch where you can have the final commit, or you can say the final changes, not the commit, but the final changes that are going to be deployed to the master branch. Okay, so what is going to happen is whenever change is pushed to the develop branch, then the changes are going to be moved to that is the test environment. And once you get all the approval from QA team and the business team, and you think that all the code changes look good and is ready to be deployed to production, then what you do is you then push your code to the release branch. And on the date of production deployment, what you do is you move those changes, that is from the release branch to the master branch. Okay, so basically release is not an environment, but it just, you know, a branch where your final code changes are going to be present, which will be deployed to the production environment, and which will be merged to the master branch. Hope that is clear. So let's create another branch, and I'm going to call this as release. So now we have 4 branches: develop, master, release, and test. Okay, so now how do I protect this? So, you know, currently this branch can be updated. If you go back to our branch view, you can see that all these branches are kind of like, you know, they can be deleted, you know. See here the options, delete branch, and I being the owner of the repository, I can delete it. I can see the delete branch option. But what happens if the team member, like a developer, has access to the repository? They will too have this option of delete. They won't be having for the master because that is protected, but they might be having an option to delete the other branches. So what we want to do is we want to protect these branches too. So I'm logged in as a team lead user. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to settings, and here under permissions, visibility, project features, and permission, I think it is not here. It's not in general, it is in the repository. Here, if I click on, you know, the default branch, if you think that you want to change your default branch, you can change it. Okay, but that is not what we want to do. We want to do is to protect the branches. So expand this, and here I'm going to protect develop branch. Allowed to merge, yes, allowed to merge by the developers and maintainers, because I want the maintainers as well as the developers, that is other team members, in the to push or commit the changes to the develop branch. So basically, I won't be, there won't be a direct commit to the develop branch, but there would be a merge request created for the develop branch, and that permission I'm giving it to the developers. Next, allowed to push. No, there one should not be any direct push to the develop branch. So I'm going to just say this is as maintainers. Okay, and basically if you want to say that okay, there should not be a direct push to the develop branch, I would say no one. That makes more sense, right? So let's do that and say protect. And next we are going to do the same for other two branches too. I'm going to say release, select. This is again, I would say to release branch, it's always going to be the maintainers. Allowed to merge, okay, and allowed to push, no one. Perfect. So the final one is going to be the test branch, and again allowed to merge by the maintainers and allowed to push, no one. So no one can push directly to the test branch. Okay, so with that, I guess we are all good with the branches. You can see here, we can also directly update if you want to do something, what you have applied to your branches. So with that, let's go back to our branches here. And now you can see that they are all protected. Okay. So that is what branches you can, you can create and update. So normally what happens is these are going to be the one-time creation. These branches are not going to be removed or deleted, but whenever a new change needs to be moved or merged to the develop branch, so this is how it basically works. Okay, suppose there is a change request and the developer is working on it. So the developer would first check out the code from the develop branch. Okay, next what the developer is going to do is the developer is going to make all the changes and create a new branch on top of the develop branch. Okay, and then push the changes to that feature branch, and then create a merge request to the develop branch. Okay, and then the other team members will review the code, okay, and approve it for the merge request. And finally the maintainer is going to, or whoever has the permission to merge it, the feature branch is going to be merged to the develop branch. So once the develop branch, the code is merged, then the developer can do the testing in the development environment and then create another merge request from develop to the test branch. Or if you are working in a DevOps, what happens is the changes then get get deployed even in test environment. So whatever the test environment you have, it will be deployed all the changes to all the test environments. So that's how it works. First, the feature branch gets get merged to the develop. From the develop, it gets to the test, and from the test, when everything is approved, all the validation passes, then there is a merge request to the release branch. And once it is in the release branch, that means that is the final commit that you want to merge or push to the master branch, that is the production environment. Okay, we are going to see how this works in our next session, where we'll be doing a practical demo of creating a branch and pushing the changes all to the master branch. Okay, so let's move on to the next one, that is tags. In the tags basically can be used to tag a particular commit. Okay, so what that means is so suppose that in your branches, okay, when you want to tag a particular commit, for example, at an organization level, there is a security patch that needs to be applied to all the applications. Okay, so what I'm going to do is you're asked to fix a security patch in your application. So what you do is you create a branch and then put your changes in that, and then push it to the develop, then test, and then release. So when it is in the release, what you want to say is, okay, now I want to create a tag that would say that this particular commit that is in the release is related to the security patch. Okay, so for example, let's create a tag. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a tag, and I would say this as security patch, and I would say this was 1.0 the version. Okay, I can give a version number. Then I'm creating it from the release branch. Okay, this is it will take the commit that was the final commit that was made to this branch, and I would give some information that this is an enterprise level security fix. Fine, and I will just create a tag. What it does, it says tag name is invalid. Okay, let's remove this. That's fine. And let's see now. It still says it's not valid. I think it is it should be, it's saying that it should not take a space. Let's see. Yes, I believe 1.0.0. Now let's see. Yes, it was not taking the space. But yeah, now we have a security patch. You can see that there is a tag created for the last commit that was made to the release branch. Now if I take this, it's going to take me to the commit that was made, and it was created on top of release branch, right? So let's go to that and look at the branches. You won't see the tag in the branches, or if you go to the files and if you select the drop down, you're not going to see it here. But if you scroll down and if you see the tags, that is where you can see the newly created tag. Now if you click on this is going to take you to the code which we the one that we created, or all the changes that we pushed as the initial commit, right? So basically it's nothing but you need to remember is it is creating a tag to the commit that we made, and we said that okay, this commit needs to be remembered, or say that this is something that is related to a very important change. Okay, so that's where you can use tags, and I find this very sometimes useful when you're doing something related really important in your application. Okay, so that's what tag is. Let's move on to the next one, that is contributors. And the contributors is, it will show you all the information of who made the commits to your application, that is your particular branch that you are on. It will show you that all the team members, how many commits they made, all those information you can see in the contributors, and also all the team members or the people who has contributed to the code changes. So that is what contributors is. Next we have is the graph. This is going to give you a graphical representation of the commits that were made to the branch. Okay, or you can say to the application by selecting the particular branch. Okay, so that is something that sometimes if you want to see that okay, who and when the commit was made and what is the description of the commits. And this is where it is important that whenever you commit the changes, make sure that you give some meaningful commit messages rather than giving some random messages. You make sure that you give some meaningful information, so whenever we look at the graph, that commit should tell the story by itself. Okay, so that's what graph is. Next we have the compare option, where you can compare two different branches and the file changes. For example, if you see here, there is no change initially, so that's what it's saying, there isn't anything to compare. But if there is any changes, if there are any changes, then you can do the comparison using the compare option here. Okay, so I guess that's all we have from the repository, and we'll look at what create merge request is and all those when we are doing a practical session on creating branches from local repository, that is from our IDE, Eclipse IDE, and creating a branch, committing the changes, and then creating a merge request and pushing it all to the master branch. Okay, so I think now you're familiar with all these features here, and that's all for this session. I will see you in the next. Till then, take care. Thank you.